Underdog Fantasy has the highest payout in this daily fantasy prop game space, and it has the most amount of lines that you can pick against. I personally think it's the best daily fantasy product out there right now, and I'm going to build you a UFC 301 entry. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and let's go ahead and build a UFC 301 Underdog Fantasy entry. Before we jump in, get your free money. Underdog Fantasy will give you free money to play. If you don't know what it is, it's daily fantasy. You come in here, you say higher or lower than any of the numbers you see on the screen, and then if you win, you can 20 times your money, you can 100 times your money, you can add a few of these chili peppers to boost those payouts even more, and they will give you free money to play. All you need to do is go to wewantpicks.com/underdog. Use promo code WWP, and they will instantly match your deposit. If you give them $20, they'll give you $20. If you give them $100, they will give you $100 instantly that you can use to build an entry, win that entry, immediately withdraw, and ride off into the sunset. WeWantPicks.com/underdog, promo code WWP. I'm going to focus on UFC 301 here because that's what we do. That's what we've been successful at. But you can mix and match other sports as well. Across the left here, you'll see every single sport. Video game sports, real human sports, motorcycle, darts, cricket, NBA, all the sports. We're not doing that, but you can mix and match, and you can get very flexible with these entries. Let's go ahead and build ours. I don't love anything on the Pantoja side. While I do think this fight goes longer, and the higher on the 20 fight minutes should be good, we actually got a better line over at PrizePicks with the 18.5 fight minutes. So we'll leave that alone. I don't think either Steve Erceg or Alexandre Pantoja win by finish. I do think this goes to a decision, which makes two of these lines appealing. One, the more on takedowns, or two, the less on finishes. We can get Steve Erceg less than a finish, meaning he's not going to win this fight by finish. He can lose the fight. He can win a decision. As long as he doesn't beat Alexandre Pantoja inside the distance, this leg of this entry is good to go. If we expand on Pantoja, you'll see 2.5 takedowns. That's one that I was thinking about, but I decided against it because Steve Erceg's a very good wrestler and a very good grappler. It is 5 rounds. He should probably cruise past the 2.5 takedowns, but we're going to leave that alone. I'm not going to throw it in here, but again, you can put that in here because he should get 3 takedowns in 25 minutes. Let's work our way down to the co-main event. We had Jonathan Martinez taking on Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo coming out of retirement. This is another fight where I do think this likely goes the distance. We have 14.99 fight minutes here. Everybody thinks this goes the distance, but they're not even giving us the option to say the more. They're saying the less. So if this ends inside the distance at any point, if this is going up to 14.99 fight minutes, they're giving you a little chili pepper. They will boost your payout if this ends inside the distance. I don't think it does, so we're going to go ahead and avoid that chili pepper. But what I do like about Jonathan Martinez here is the lower than a half of a finish. This is another situation. They're gonna do the opposite of juicing the line. You're going to get paid out at 0.65 instead of 1x. And I get it, because this fight is not going to end inside the distance. And if it does, it's not going to be Jonathan Martinez. Jose Aldo is a very tough guy to finish, and he's old. He hasn't fought in a few years. He's coming out of retirement, but I still think we're good here. So we're doing the lower on Jonathan Martinez to win by finish. If you do think Jonathan Martinez does win by finish, well, you can double your entire entry with that little chili pepper there. But for the most part, the chili peppers are a trap, but there is one in here that I'm about to throw into this entry that I do like. I don't like any of these other lines regarding some of these other main card fights. The Vitor Petrino fight, there's so many questions there. Vitor Petrino is just coming off a decision, so he's perfectly capable of fighting a safe 15-minute fight. He's also a savage, and he's fighting a worn-out Anthony Smith. Too many questions there, how that fight's going to be won. I do think Vitor wins, but we don't have a line here that just says who wins. So we're going to leave that alone. Work our way down. Michel Pereira. I think Michel Pereira absolutely dusts Ihor Potieria. Ihor Potieria is a chinny guy who's not nearly as well-rounded as he needs to be. He's only got a couple of minutes of cardio. I think Michel Pereira blows right through him, probably finishes him. So you can add this half a finish here because he can finish him. I think he does finish him, but Michel Pereira is another guy that has plenty of decisions on his record. Lately, he's been crushing people, but he had a 5-fight streak before that. Decision. And he may feel some of the strikes. Ihor's a very good striker. He might feel some of that, not like it, and just start wrestling and grappling. So we'll leave that alone. Caio Borralho, same exact situation. He absolutely smokes Paul Craig, probably finishes Paul Craig, but we have seen Caio Borralho time and time again be perfectly happy getting takedowns and chilling with control time. There's not a takedown line here, but if there was, I would consider the under, because I think Caio Borralho ends up in a striking match. You can go the 36.5 significant strikes. You can go the higher there, because I think this fight stays on its feet. I think Caio Borralho is going to be busier than usual and look to strike, because he is fighting a guy that has terrible striking but good grappling. I don't have that in my entry, but you can add that. What I am going to add here is the chili pepper to make up for a couple of the reduced lines that we got earlier. We're going to 1.2 our entire entry with this chili pepper on Joanderson Brito to win by finish. I do think he wins by finish. I do think he does. I think he finishes Jack Shore. That's what Joanderson Brito does. He'll snatch up a guillotine. He'll lay that giant haymaker of an overhand on the chin. I think Brito wins this fight. It is at home. And I think because it's at home, and I already think he wins, I think he's going to be more inclined to get a finish, and that's who he is. This guy's got some of the best finishes. He's one of the most dangerous guys at this weight class. Last time I made that statement, people were like, well, Tatsuro Taira is also dangerous. Yeah, Tatsuro Taira is maybe half a dangerous for a submission on the ground. Joanderson Brito will submit you or remove your head from your entire body. Joanderson Brito is the most dangerous guy in this division, and we're going to get a little bit of juice on that. Don't forget, we're building a 5-pick entry. So even if we get it wrong, we'll get a little bit of money. We'll get paid out just a little bit. We're going to move to Ismael Lucindo. We got 2 takedowns on her. We're going to do the higher. I wish it was 1.5. Obviously, 2 takedowns means we need 3. Otherwise, this gets reduced down to a 4-pick entry because it is an even number. Ismael Lucindo has plenty of takedowns. That's what she does. You go through her fight history. That's what she does. You watch her tape. That's what she does. She's fighting Karolina Kowalkiewicz, a very experienced kickboxer. So Ismael Lucindo is most likely not going to stand and kickbox with a better kickboxer. She's going to move forward, look to grab, look to drag, look to get this fight to the ground, and probably does. And I think she does it at least 3 times. If this fight goes to a decision, which it most likely does, well, then we're going to be good because 1 takedown per round is all we need. And you can see here the 14.99 fight minutes, the lower there as well, is also juice. We're going to leave that alone. I think Ismael gets her takedowns. And then finally, we're going to cruise past a couple of these guys and go right to Jean Silva. Jean Silva, we're going to go on the lower half a finish for him. This is probably my most confident line on the whole thing. William Gomez is not only tough and well-rounded, but he's also very tall, very long, and he can fight a perfect, safe game plan on the outside. Jean Silva is a very dangerous striker who can finish people, but he does tend to play around a little bit too much, play some games, not fully engage, not fully commit. And on top of that, you have William Gomez, who is perfectly willing to be slow, boring, hang out on the outside, and drag this fight out. With that being said, I do not think Jean Silva wins by finish, and that's what we're betting against here. This is the entry. We will 7 times our money. If you're going to go all in on this, you'll 7 times your money. If you go the flex route, you can almost 4 times it, and you'll even get paid if some of these lose. Let's go ahead and take a look at the entry. This is the one I built. I built it a few days ago. We got Jean Silva lower than a half a finish. Joanderson Brito higher than a half a finish with that chili pepper. We got Jonathan Martinez lower than a half a finish. Steve Erceg lower than a half a finish. And then Ismael Lucindo higher than 2 takedowns. There's a theme here. I think a lot of these close matchups end up on the scorecards. Except for Joey Breitz, I think Joanderson Brito wins by finish. Guys, whether you like this entry, love this entry, or hate this entry, it doesn't matter. Get your free money and build your own. WeWantPicks.com/underdog, promo code WWP. They'll give you the free money. You take it, you build an entry, you withdraw that money, and you're good to go. WeWantPicks.com/underdog, promo code WWP.